Welcome to SOS Media, your number one source of the latest news, opinions, and in-depth investigations that dig deeper into today's developing stories around the globe. Robert Sylvester Kelly was transferred from the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago to the medium-security Federal Correctional Institution in Butner, North Carolina on April 19, 2023. One of the nice things about the Butner complexes is that they tend to be pretty soft facilities. Every institution has a different kind of cultural level, but Butner is in reality quite a good place, for the reason that they tend to have a low level of violence. I know, just like most of us do, that our Kelly fans and supporters would love to get to understand how he is living his daily life at Butner, given the fact that many of us might have not heard from him for some time now since the transfer was done. From the SOS Media, I can confidently tell you to take heart, because all is well with R. Kelly, apart from the fact that he still nurses a slightly swollen leg. He was reportedly supposed to have gone for checkup Friday last week, but that never happened, and therefore had the medical checkup appointment rescheduled to some day this week. R. Kelly says the Butner facility is quite better than the previous Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago because he has a little more freedom, and adds that the people around the facility are cool. On arrival at the facility, R. Kelly, just like any other fresh inmate, was given the Federal Bureau of Prisons Federal Correctional Institution 1 Butner, North Carolina Inmate Handbook. The reason for availing the handbook was to provide R. Kelly and other interested party in the Federal Bureau of Prisons with broad information concerning the Bureau, its programs, establishments, and the rules and regulations he will come upon for the duration of his detention. It is not a specific guide to the detailed policies of the Bureau, or all procedures in effect at each Bureau location, but rather, the material in this handbook is meant to help him quickly understand what he will be facing in prison, and hopefully assist him in his efforts to adjust to the specifically new institution life. As we talk today, R. Kelly is in the final stages of completing his admission and orientation program, and reports say he is doing that well. While in the program, he has been able to learn about the programs, services, policies, and processes regarding the Butner facility. R. Kelly has already received adequate lectures from the facility staff concerning their programs and departments. R. Kelly was also tested at the facility's diagnostic center, where information about his family history, educational background, work history, medical history, and criminal history was recorded. He then was screened for medical, dental, and mental health problems and was found to be sound. He was later interviewed to determine his interests and abilities to help them make recommendations for future job and program assignments. He was also provided counseling sessions to help him in making an ample adjustment to the new prison environment. R. Kelly has already been assigned to the music program as his job area, and surprisingly, he has already started a band. We can't just fail to imagine how many of his fellow inmates will benefit from this great talent. It's just going to be massive, I guess. Fortunately again, R. Kelly was assigned to regular population, which means that he is free to move about the prison facility as required by his job or program assignment, for recreation, and to have meals with fellow inmates. Just like you check into a hotel room, R. Kelly had the responsibility of checking his living area when it was assigned to him, and to report any observed damage to the facility officer, otherwise he would be held financially answerable to damages and hygiene found in his personal living area. Despite his status and position in society, R. Kelly is also responsible for sweeping and cleaning his personal living area, taking out trash, and ensuring that his living area is hygienic and healthy. R. Kelly's toothpaste, toothbrushes, and other self-care items are issued by the institution and are available in his housing unit, though he may, for one reason or the other, acquire name brand items through the commissary, though these are also limited for sanitation and security reasons. Like the rest of the inmates, R. Kelly's clothing room is open for exchange and pickup of outfits on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays between 6:30 and 7:30 a.m. except on holidays. He is, however, allowed to wash his personal items in the laundry at the housing unit. We should also note that R. Kelly is no longer dressing up in the orange outfits like he used to at the Chicago Metropolitan Correctional Center, but rather the beige-colored outfits meant for this federal institution. We all know that luxury in detention is not a prerequisite, but R. Kelly or any other fellow inmate may own, but not more than one permitted radio or watch at any one time. Evidence of ownership through verifiable property receipts will be required. He may not have to own a radio or watch whose worth exceeds the remotely recognized limits, which are in the $75 range today. He is also not allowed to own a radio with a tape recorder. R. Kelly's radio and watch have been inscribed with his name and registration number. It's also true that R. Kelly is allowed to own jewelry, but with prior approval from the prison authorities. He can also acquire a religious medal so long as it has no stones. You should have already noticed that there are quite a number of rules and regulations that R. Kelly is supposed to abide with as long as he is still held up at this facility. Arguably, this is meant to keep sanity at the detention facility, but we should also put it at the back of our minds that incarcerated people have nearly no control over their day-to-day lives, including when they wake up, what they eat, what their jobs are, and as to when they have access to recreation. This alone can lead to feelings of dependence and helplessness. R. Kelly is not any different because we know he has no control over his current surrounding. I can tell you that even with a relatively humane prison like Butner, R. Kelly is still at risk of negative mental health outcomes. Surely, the reality remains that the poor conditions in prisons and detention centers have of late caused R. Kelly substantial misery and distress. I believe that everyone comprehends the fact that every alleged wrongdoer is a part of a wider family. R. Kelly's incarceration has been overwhelming and a very difficult time, not only to him alone but also for his family, friends, fans, and all of us who support him. This thus calls for the vital need of communicating from the detention center to the outside world and vice versa. At the Federal Correctional Institution in Butner, R. Kelly enjoys the privilege to communicate to family, friends, and his legal team by email or telephone. For security reasons, though, all incoming mail is checked to see if it comprises of any illegal or unsanctioned items. Outgoing mail from R. Kelly may also be checked. Personal letters from family and friends are not read by authorities unless the officer in charge or designee has reason to believe that the letter contains threats of harm or criminal activity, escape strategies, or ideas of how to violate prison rules. However, all R. Kelly's incoming mail from his legal team or any other legal aid service supporting him must be opened in his presence before it may be checked for illegal or unauthorized items. There is a limited number of items that can be sent to R. Kelly through the mail. No cash-on-delivery packages are accepted. Some items may be received through the mail and are always subject to inspection. R. Kelly has the obligation of making applications to the people he feels like visiting him, and they must submit them back completed listing name, address, relationship, and picture identification they will present when visiting him. They must subsequently be approved by the facility authorities. R. Kelly is the one responsible for informing the prospective visitor of whether or not they have been approved to visit. The maximum number of approved visitors R. Kelly can have today is 18, but this number does not include the religious folk. In part 2 of this story, we shall continue painting for you the picture of how R. Kelly is spending life at the Butner facility, and also continue to enlighten you on what his typical day in detention looks like. We will also keep you abreast with his newly formed band. Who knows, the next mega R. Kelly songs might have their origin behind those unwelcoming prison walls. Thank you for watching today's video brought to you by SOS Media. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our videos. Also remember to leave your comment about today's topic in the comment section below.